The movement of water is called osmosis, and it is a little bit more complex, so it requires its own video. So when we talk about water, it's very easy to think about like, oh, water just, moves across the membrane. So let's draw a box. This thing. And here's my box. And I am going to put a membrane across my box. Now, water can move across this membrane a little bit via diffusion. But a lot of times water will actually use specialized channels called aquaporins, right? It's just a channel that can move water like any other channel would move anything else. So aquaporins move water. And so let's say that this membrane that I made is permeable to water, and we have two different sides, right? We've got side A and we've got side B. And I know it looks a little bit off, but for the sake of my argument, let's assume that these boxes, box A and box B, or compartment A and compartment B, are the same side. And of course, inside of this box, there's going to be water. Okay, so I'm just going to draw some water droplets. This is my little water droplets here. Kind of look like little sixes, but, And the volume of water on both sides of that membrane is the same. Okay? But let's say that we put some stuff on this side, side A. Okay? And let's draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waters over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 waters over here. Okay? So what we can say is that our ratio, let's put 9 waters over here. Let's just make our math easy. Let's actually just do 10. 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. And let's do 10 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 waters over here. Okay? So if we look, what we can say is we can say that a ratio of water to stuff is 10 molecules of water to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 molecules of stuff. Okay. Now over here on this side we have a ratio of 10 molecules of water to 0 stuff. Okay. Now water will move in such a way that it wants these two ratios to be the same. Now imagine, right, that this green stuff, whatever it may be, cannot move through the membrane. Only water can move through this membrane. And water wants to move so that these ratios of water to stuff are the same. So I can't change the stuff. So what I can do is change the water. So if I want the ratios to be the same or get closer to one another, I have to take this number and increase it, right? So because of that, water will move in this direction. Okay? And so it will move towards the stuff, essentially, is what you can say, right? Water move towards the stuff. Okay? So let's take another box. Draw it in gray just to keep everything sort of consistent here. My box, I'm going to draw that into two compartments as well. Call it compartment A and B again, just as normal. And let's say that we have a ratio, or let's put 10 waters in here again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we'll put 10 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then let's put 4 red things over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's put 2 over here. Okay, so our ratio is 10 to 4 over here. And our ratio is 10 to 2 over here. And you might be quick to say, well, let's just move one red thing over from A to B. But remember, red can't move, right? Only the blue can move. Only water can move across this membrane because it's selectively permeable. Okay, so if I can't change this number here, what do I have to do? I have to increase this number, right? So I have to bring that to 20 to 4, right, to be equal to 10 to 2. But if I take water from here and move it over here, it's going to decrease, right? So we'll settle on a ratio of like 15 to 3, whatever that sort of equals into, right? So we're going to take our water and we're going to move it over here because water moves towards the stuff, right? So the water in the 2 compartments is equal, right? But there's more stuff over here. So it moves towards the stuff, okay? Now, let's make it a little bit more complex and let's draw another box. And we'll divide this into 2 compartments. We'll call it A and B. And we're going to put water in both of them. Do 10 because that seems to be consistent with what we're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 over here. And let's put 4 green. Over here, let's put 1, 2 green over here. And let's put 2 red over here. And 4 red over here. Okay, so what we have to look at is what is the ratio of water to stuff. We have 10 molecules of water to 6 molecules of stuff. And over here we have 10 molecules of water to 6 molecules of stuff, right? And so it's the same. So there would be no net movement of water because when we look at water and the direction that it's going to move, we don't parse out the stuff, right? We just say, what is the totality of stuff that is inside of the water, right? That's essentially your osmolarity, right? Is how many osmoles or how many moles of stuff are in the water, right? Doesn't care what it is. It's just how much stuff is in the water, right? So water will move. So water moves from low osmolarity to high osmolarity, right? Because it moves towards the stuff. So it moves from low osmolarity to high osmolarity. So let's take a look at this with an example. Draw our box again. Divide it into 2 compartments. Permeable only to water. Box A. Box B. And we're going to say that box A has an osmolarity of 550 milliosmoles. And box B has an osmolarity of 623 milliosmoles. I'm just making some numbers up. What direction will water move? It will go with the stuff, go to the stuff. This is more stuff. So water will move from A to B. Okay? That is what we refer to as the osmotic pressure. Okay. It's how much pressure is there to draw water into a compartment based off of how much stuff is there. So a way to think of it is this has 550 milliosmoles of osmotic pressure. This has 623 milliosmoles of osmotic pressure, right? So there's a osmotic pressure going that way with a magnitude of 550, but there's a pressure going this way with the magnitude of 623. So the overall net pressure is in that direction with, give me a different color, that magnitude. Hopefully you can see where I got that from with the math. Okay, so water removed from an area of from an area of low osmolarity to an area of high osmolarity. Okay, but we all know that if we take a box like so, and let's make the boxes, let's compartmentalize it, and let's make it not so even, right? And I put 750 milliliters of water in here, and I put 750 milliliters of water in here. In doing so, right, what's going to happen is that water is going to want to leak into this chamber, okay, because there's a force of the water acting on that membrane. There's a force of the water itself, the sheer volume, right? That's what we call hydrostatic pressure. And hydrostatic pressure is the pressure exerted by the fluid, right? So if I were to take this membrane and shift it over here, what's going to happen to my hydrostatic pressure in compartment A? It's going to go up, right? And so it will create even more force in that direction. So if we put this all together, right, we know that there is let's come back here for a minute. There's a hydrostatic pressure pushing in this direction with this force. There's a hydrostatic pressure pushing in this direction with that force. So our overall net hydrostatic force is in that direction. So if we put this all together, right, remember, if we have a compartment or a box, and we divide it into two compartments, compartment A and compartment B, right? Compartment A has an osmotic pressure. There's an osmotic pressure of A. There's an osmotic pressure of B. But there's also a hydrostatic pressure of A and a hydrostatic pressure of B. What direction are these forces? Can you picture it? Let's draw it in green. So the osmotic pressure is the stuff pulling water into A, or the stuff in B pulling the water into B. The hydrostatic pressure is the pressure of the fluid pushing water out of A or pushing water out of B. Okay? So if we take and look at the magnitude of all of those forces and add them together, we have the net pressure. And that is what will dictate water. So when we think about this, right, from a application standpoint, what happens to the pressure of the water, the fluid, inside of your capillaries if I constrict the blood vessels and make the volume of the tubes smaller? How will that dictate the movement of water?